Yo, you know what it is. It's the Fall Anime Guide Week 3, and let's go right into it. Spoiler warning to all the anime mentioned, of course. In More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers this week, Akari and Jiro decide to watch a horror movie in order to increase their rank, which succeeds. Then the ranks of each couple is revealed, and Akari and Jiro are B ranked, but Minami and Shiori are E ranked, which means that if something doesn't change for them, they can't change partners, cause only A ranks can switch with other A ranks. More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers is a good romance anime. It's fun and sweet and has Akari, which I would watch the anime alone for her. Akari is best girl without a doubt, but I am not yet 100% sold on it, though I am close to it. It remains with give it a chance. Okay, I realized after finishing last week's guide that I missed an episode of Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun. So good news! This week, you get a review of 2 episodes of Iruma-kun. In episode 2, the students' training finally kicks off. Iruma and Lead's training is them basically being errand boys, which infuriates Lead and decides to quit training with Bachiko and go back to Robin. But Iruma decides to stay, which makes Bachiko calling him the biggest moron there is. After continuing being her errand boy for a while, she decides that Iruma needs to make a new weapon. In episode 3, Iruma is tasked with making a bow that is made from his desires. We then get Bachiko's backstory of how she used to train people, but they all gave up, and thinks Iruma is going to do the same, but she doesn't know our boy now, does she? Iruma figures out his true desire to stay with everyone, which leads him to make the most badass looking bow. The other students also completed their training and succeeded in their tasks. Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun continues to be a solid isekai, which you honestly forget that it is an isekai when watching it. I said it last week and I'll say it again. Iruma-kun is an underrated gem. Must watch. Yeah, what I said about missing an episode of Iruma-kun last week, I also missed an episode of Blue Lock. Whoopsie! Anyway, in episode 2, we now know how the Blue Lock project came to be. Apparently, the loss to Belgium in the 2018 World Cup affected the mangaka greatly. We also learn how the 300 students are separated, which of course means it's a ranking system, and that Yuichi's team are the worst ones there. Each team will then compete in selection matches, where the top 2 teams will continue, but the rest will be kicked out of the project. But since everyone in the project is a striker, that means that the players should forget about the concept of tactics and positioning, and configure football from zero. In episode 3, we get an additional rule where the top striker of each team will continue no matter how their team does, which leads to the match basically being a free-for-all where everyone will play for himself instead of the team. That is, until a player from the opposing team breaks through and makes Team X play together. But our team is still in disarray. The score is 5-0, but they decide to at least get a goal back. Yuichi is through on goal, but Baro stands in front of him. Instead of going through, Yuichi passes to Kunigami, who scores a wonder goal. The team figures out that they need to change their 0 to 1. Overall, Blue Lock is truly different from any sports anime I watched before. There is no more the ball is your friend and all that stuff. Instead, each player clash with each other so that they would come out on top. It's honestly a breath of fresh air. Must watch. Since we are now revved up, let's talk about Chainsaw Man. Denji discovers that the situation he's in is either work or be killed. We also met the people Denji will work with, Aki and Power. My heart is already in a war between Makima or Power. I can't decide between them at the moment, but if I had to pick now, then I would go Makima. Oh, and we also saw Denji's fighting style. Always go for the nuts. I really liked this episode, even more than the first one. I enjoyed it from top to bottom. I think it's obvious that Chainsaw Man is a must-watch. You don't need me to tell you that. In Shinobi no Ittoki this week, Ittoki finally started school, where he obviously looks out of place. He's being targeted by the Koga ninjas and he now knows why they are targeting him. However, he makes new friends in Kirei and Ryoko. We also see the class's first assignment, which is to bring a mochi from the principal and return. In it, the Koga ninja aim to steal the mochi instead, and they succeed in stealing it from Kirei, but Ittoki gets it back for her, but he fails the assignment as a consequence. Shinobi no Ittoki is really predictable. You can always tell what is going to happen in the episode while you watch it. I like it so far, but I hope that I would love it. You, however, might like it, so it remains with give it a chance. While watching Love Flops this week, I felt that its plot is similar to what you see in the cultured anime. Asahi's father gets all the people he bumps into in the first episode to move in with him, and of course, Asahi can decide which one of them to be his wife or even none at all. As a result of that, all of them put the moves on Asahi, but he has an iron will and does nothing and even tells them to move out. But of course, in the end, he changes his mind. I shouldn't like Love Flops. I really shouldn't like it. It's trash. But I guess I'm trash as well. Give it a chance. In the new episode of Mob Psycho 100, Mob thinks he got popular and reaches an emotional state of 100% on a high horse. Meanwhile, the Psycho Helmet Religion is holding auditions for their founder. A Mob lookalike appears in the auditions, claiming to be their founder and the creator of the giant broccoli. Mob Psycho will always have my bias, even though it doesn't need it. Seeing a confident Mob, I was happy for him. That was until he talked to Dimple, then I wasn't sure anymore. Anyways, it's still a must-watch. In Do It Yourself, a 12-year-old genius student from America transfers to US school. She keeps berating the DIY club but hangs out there regardless, until Ray tells her to not come back if she's just going to complain, which makes her run away. Yua then searches for her and gets her to come back, where they apologize to her and let her join the club. They also give her the nickname Jobco. Do It Yourself so far is exactly what I expected. A comfy, easygoing show that is just what you need to relax. Do It Yourself is a must-watch. Akiba Maid War surprises me week after week. This time, Ranko enters an underground maid boxing ring where she has to throw a match in the 3rd round, but instead wins with one punch. Instead of killing her, however, they get her to reach the finals where she has to throw the match in the 12th round, where she was also supposed to get killed, but instead she fights and wins the match. After the finals, a new maid joins the cafe, Zoya. As I said before, Akiba Maid War keeps surprising me. I really can't put it into words. Akiba Maid War is my favorite anime of the season so far, and I will keep saying that every week until it's not true, which I don't see happening right now. It's a must-watch. This week in Urusei Yatsura, the episode was split into 2 halves. In the first half, Ataru runs away and meets Sakura, Cherry's niece, who was cursed by countless yokai, but transfers these yokai onto Ataru, increasing his bad luck. In the second half, Ataru gets a special ribbon from Cherry that seals Lum's power, and only the one who ties it can remove it, which he gives to her disguised as a gift. Of course, Lum is confused why she can't use her powers until she sees the letter that Cherry sent to Ataru explaining the ribbon, and makes Ataru remove it. Urusei Yatsura is a super fun watch. I like everything in it, especially the art style. Urusei Yatsura is a must-watch to anyone who's looking for a fun anime. My Hero Academia's episode this week was thrilling. Dabi beats Hawk and reveals that he doesn't care for the League of Villains, but his true motive is to carry out Stain's will. Miruko also overcomes excruciating pain to break Shigaraki's capsule to prevent him from awakening, and the team captures the Doctor, but Shigaraki awakens nonetheless. My Hero Academia really exceeded my expectations for this season, and the final few moments of the episode kept me on the edge of my seat. Those who dropped My Hero Academia are really missing out. Must watch. In Bocchi the Rock, Bocchi tries to recruit Kita to join the band as a way to make up for being sick, but it turns out that Kita is the runaway guitarist from the band. As a way to make up for running away, she works at the club, but Bocchi and the band convince her to join. It turns out that the guitar she was practicing on all along was a bass. Bocchi the Rock hits similar notes as Do It Yourself. It's comfy and a relaxing anime that keeps changing its art style for comedic effect. I actually do like it a lot, but Do It Yourself is still better. However, it also gets a must-watch. The final anime this week is Spy Family. Just like Urusei Yatsura, it was an episode of 2 halves. In the first half, Yor learns cooking from her co-worker Camilla, but she keeps messing up. However, she makes a dish her mother used to make and finally makes a dish well, which she then cooks for Lloyd and Anya. In the second half, the informant, Frankie, learns how to go on a perfect date from Lloyd, but he is rejected. Spy Family is still heartwarming, especially the first half. I think it's obvious that Spy Family is a must-watch. Wow, no drop-its this week. This season is going to be one for the ages. Actually, I think it already is. If I missed an anime this season that you think is a must-watch, then let me know down below. And if you liked the video, then leave a thumbs up and subscribe. This has been Enio, and until next time, bye!